Hi, we have a fun video today. This is all about my top self-seeding flowers to grow your garden for free, or you could sell some of the sprouts, or you can do both. So I'm going to show you the flower. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about each flower, and then I'm also going to show you what the little seedlings, what the sprouts look like, so you know what to look for. And so that in time, you also become more familiar with what to look for, and you won't pull them out as weeds. So let's get right into it. First up is Rudbeckia's Viet's Little Susie. Okay, first up is Rudbeckia Viet's Little Susie. This is a more compact form of black-eyed Susan. It's hardy in zones 3 through 9, and it grows to about 2 feet tall. So what you see here, especially here on the left-hand side, that is the height that it will grow as a fully mature plant. And Viet's Little Susie is a great self-seeder. I'm going to get really close so you can see exactly what it looks like. Look at all those seeds in the middle. Pollinators love this plant. Butterflies love the flower. I have pictures of a number of different butterflies on the Viet's Little Susie. If I can find the pictures, I'll put them in so you can see. But this started as one small, tiny little plant, and I let it self-seed and expand. I also have it back there. That's Viet Little Susie back there. And I have it in different parts of the property. So this is what it looks like. It's nice and cheery. This plant loves full sun, moist draining soils. You can see here where it's self-seeded here a little bit over to more to the left of this plant, and I just let it grow. I could have taken it out and sold it. I have sold a lot of the little sprouts that grow from this. I let it grow, I pot it, and then I sell it. These I just left them here to grow. And I'm going to show you, let me get in here. I'm going to show you what a sprout looks like. So this is the actual flower. This is the plant. And then here a little bit to the left, there's a sprout growing that if I don't pot it and sell it, or if I don't take it out, it's going to grow just as tall and as large as these. So let me show you. Okay, so you can see here. You can see here the leaves. This is Viet Little Susie. That a little seed fell there and is starting to grow. You can also see another one here. If you look closely, I'm going to zoom out. Okay, if you look closely right here, let me put my finger on it right here. This is another little sprout that's growing right next to the larger plant. So these are two little sprouts. Here's the other one again. So these are two that are growing that I can let grow, and then this will continue to expand over. Or I could take those little sprouts out and put them in another garden, or I could pot them and sell them. And what you need to think about with self-seeding plants is that Once you take them to another area and plant them there, or as they continue to self-seed and grow, those new sprouts will also self-seed, and then those other sprouts will self-seed in addition to the original one. So you can kind of imagine in that way how quickly these self-seeding flowers expand to fill a garden. So this is Viette's Little Susie. The second one we're going to look at is Echinacea coneflower. And this comes in a variety of different colors and variations. They're all great self-seeders. We're going to look at some in the butterfly garden. Echinacea, also known as coneflower. I have some of it here, so I'm going to show you that, and then we're going to go into the butterfly garden and take a look at it. So this is coneflower here. Butterflies love the nectar of coneflower. And also birds like to eat the seeds. Look at the seeds. Birds like to eat the seeds of the coneflower. So I have one there. I have another one growing here. Echinacea / coneflower, it performs best in full sun and well-draining soils. Also, if I didn't mention, I can't remember if I mentioned the Little Susie. This one also grows best in full sun and well-draining soils. There's another little sprout of the coneflower here that I planted just a couple weeks ago. And it's growing nicely. I see a new bud starting there at the back. So this was a new sprout this season that I planted, and it's growing. And then when it comes back next season, it'll be as large as the two in the front that I just showed you. Let's go into the butterfly garden so I can show you what they look like when they're sprouting. Coneflower is hardy in zones 4 through 9, and they grow to 2 to 4 feet tall. Now here I'm going to show you. I have two different types of coneflower in the butterfly garden. I have a fuchsia coneflower and a Cheyenne spirit that has different colors. And excuse the butterfly garden, the rabbits have just been eating all my coneflower. We have 2 families of rabbits here on the property this summer, and they are just like eating away, which is okay. These are all native plants and they serve more of a purpose than just looking pretty, right? So the rabbits are eating. Okay, so here's coneflower here and back there, and then you can see here, right here, this is a sprout of coneflower, and I'm going to show you more. This is another coneflower plant that's growing. I have to be careful walking through the butterfly garden because we have a lot of monarch caterpillars right now. This is another sprout that is growing, and now it's kind of already getting bigger. I can see it's starting to have new growth there in the middle, and this one is already getting larger. So this is a sprout of this coneflower plant. I'm going to show you a smaller sprout over here. There's another sprout that's growing. So again, this is coneflower here, and you can kind of see that there was one main plant to begin with, and then it has sprouted 2 other plants that have grown. Here's coneflower, and then here's another sprout here. Now this sprout, I have to weed in here. This sprout has weeds mixed in, so I'm going to show you the difference. This is actually good that this is like this, so I can show you the difference. So these are the leaves here and here. These are the leaves of the coneflower, and then this is a weed. Okay, so this is the coneflower. So that's another sprout that's growing. And so I have little sprouts throughout the butterfly garden that are growing. Here's another sprout. This is another sprout of coneflower. Now this is in my walkway, which I do have a number of sprouts of different things growing in the walkway. And I will take this out and put this on the outer edge. But this is another sprout of coneflower. I had taken a sprout and planted it right over here, and that's a sprout that's growing nicely. And then I have a white coneflower here, but it hasn't bloomed because the rabbits are just eating it. But I see this is white coneflower, and I do see there's one little bloom back there, so I hope it at least gets one bloom. You can see they ate it, but so that's coneflower there. So I'm hoping that the white one gets a lot of little sprouts, and that I'll also have white coneflower in here. And normally, I'm going to show you a picture of what the butterfly garden normally looks like in July. Normally, the coneflower is a lot taller, and mine are normally that height, between 2 to 3 feet tall, I'm going to say. So I'm going to put a picture of what this side normally looks like in July when it's not being demolished by the wildlife. And you'll see how full these flowers get. And then you can imagine as the sprouts, the little sprouts keep growing, how that really fills in the garden. So again, you can leave them here and let them just totally fill in the space. You can put it in a new garden and start a new garden from these sprouts, or you could sell them and make some money, or do both. So I love echinacea, and it's very easy to grow. A third great self-seeder is the Eastern red columbine flower. This one, I love it because it's interesting. It looks a little different. And this is a prolific self-seeder. This will form small little colonies wherever you plant it in the right growing conditions. So we'll talk about that. And this is a little bit earlier in the season than some of the others that we've already talked about. This is late spring, early summer. Okay, so the Eastern red columbine, that blooms late spring, early summer. So it's currently not in bloom. I'm going to see if I can find a leaf so you can see what the leaves look like. They have a unique leaf, so they're easy to spot. And I think I'm going to put in a picture of some little pots of the Eastern columbine that I sold earlier this summer. And that'll show you what the leaves look like really well. And the Eastern columbine, it's the recipient of the Award of Garden Merit. Super easy to grow. It grows about 2 to 3 feet tall, and it's hardy in zones 3 through 8. Hummingbirds love this flower, also the butterflies. It's a great flower to add color to the garden before your other summer plants are blooming yet. I'm going to show you here. It's all out of it's all out of season now, you know, so it doesn't look the best. But this is what the leaves look like. So they're very unique. And they're different. They don't look like the leaves of the other plants. So they're easy to differentiate. They're easy to tell the red columbine leaves when they're sprouting up, I think. I love red columbine. And red columbine is a prolific self-seeder. It can be grown in full sun if the soil is kept moist. However, it prefers part shade. So well-draining soils that are kept somewhat moist in part shade, and red columbine will prolifically self-seed and create small colonies. And it looks beautiful in multiples like that. The fourth self-seeding plant is Blazing Star. This flower is loved by bees, pollinators, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Next is a plant that I love, Blazing Star. So this is Blazing Star here. And then I also have another Blazing Star. Back here you can see the tall spike. It did have more spikes coming up, but as you can see, the deer bit them off. And I see some down there, but so you can see the tall spike here. And the Blazing Star is interesting because the little buds start opening from the top down and work their way down. So these have already opened and are kind of drying out, but then these are opening here, and then it will continue to open all the way down the spike. And then all of this will be a beautiful purple spike. I will put a picture in of the Blazing Star in full bloom last summer. But so that's a mature Blazing Star, and then here in the front is also a mature Blazing Star. This Blazing Star is hardy through zones 3 through 9, and it grows about 2 to 4 feet tall. I'm gonna say mine, I mean this one, you can see that spike, and the other spikes would be just as tall. I'm gonna say mine are about 3 to 4 feet tall in full bloom. And bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, all pollinators love, 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 love this plant. It performs best in full sun and also well-draining soils. Now, Blazing Star has a number of different varieties. There is a marsh, it's called dense, I believe, Blazing Star, marsh Blazing Star, and that's for if you have wet soil or moist soil. It does really well in those conditions. But this is just regular Blazing Star. Oh, here's another little sprout of the coneflower. I think I had missed that one. There's another sprout right there. You can see here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to zoom in here. This is a little sprout. They're kind of spiky sprouts. That's how you can tell the difference. That's a little sprout of the Blazing Star. There's another little sprout. I'm going to zoom out so I can see. Right here. That's Blazing Star. I can see here right in front of the coneflower. So this is a sprout of coneflower, but right behind it, right there, that's a sprout of Blazing Star. Here's a little sprout starting out of Blazing Star. And I can see right over there, that's another sprout of blazing star. And here's another sprout of blazing star. I'm gonna put in a quick video. I just potted up 4 little pots of blazing star of sprouts that were growing here. So you can see how many sprouts there actually were here. And I took a little video before I potted them up, so I'm gonna put that in. But I just noticed here another sprout that's kind of growing, has grown a little bit more, so you can see what it looks like as it starts to grow. See that sprout there that the grasses are kind of bent over? That is blazing star. And that's kind of a bigger one that's grown a little bit more than these others. So I'm gonna put the video in so you can see the sprouts of the blazing star. Okay, here are the blazing star sprouts. I am recording this quickly now because I'm getting ready to pot up 4 of them. And I just wanted to show you how many there actually are. This is my original blazing star here. And then I have another blazing star right back there. You can see it with the purple spike. And then all in between we have little blazing star sprouts. So I'm going to show you real quick. There's a blazing star sprout. There's a blazing star sprout. There's another one starting there. There's another one there and another one right behind it. I have to be careful here because of the caterpillars. We have a bunch of monarch caterpillars right now. Here's a blazing star sprout right there. There's a little blazing star sprout right there. There's another one right there. I just saw one here. There's one here. See all these little spikes? Those are all blazing stars. And here's 2 blazing stars here. And so you can see, and I've already taken out a number of them because I've sold a lot. So I had even more. And here's another blazing star sprout right there. Blazing star is a pollinator magnet. This is what it looks like after it's bloomed. The whole spike, because remember it starts from the top and goes down, the whole spike has already bloomed all the way up to the bottom that is kind of still in bloom. And this one you can see. You can see more of an example here. So you see how it starts at the top and then they will continue to open down, 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 and then the whole spike will be a dense purple spike. Really pretty. Hi, little bee. Hi. Enjoy. The 5th self-seeding flower is Heliopsis helianthoides, also known as false sunflower. These come also in different varieties. I have 2 varieties here, Prairie Sunset and Oxeye Sunflower. So we're going to talk about that, how they look a little bit different and how to differentiate the 2. Both are really great self-seeders. Okay, next is Heliopsis helianthoides, also known as false sunflower. Hold on, I see a little bunny. That's the bioswale down there. Can you see the bunny? He's in the shade. I can't tell here. Can't tell if you can see him or not. Right in front of the grass in the shade. We have a whole family of bunnies, as I was saying, with that they're eating all the coneflower and other things, but they just seem to love the coneflower. But can you see him eating down there? Hi, bunny. Okay, back to business. So this is currently out of bloom. So it doesn't look the best right now. I'm going to put a picture of it in bloom so you can see what it looks like. And I have 2 varieties of this false sunflower. And I'm going to show you the difference. I have the variety called prairie sunset, and that flower has an orange center. Really pretty. You can kind of see it. It's out of bloom. Kind of see the difference here. See how there's more of an orange center? I'm going to put a picture in of it fully in bloom, of the prairie sunset. And then here is the oxeye false sunflower. Can you see the difference? How this is all yellow, and then this one has more of orange in the center. So this is false sunflower prairie sunset, and this is false sunflower oxeye sunflower. And the way that you can tell the difference when it's growing is the oxeye sunflower has green stems. You can kind of see the stem here. It's just regular green. Where the prairie sunset has more of, I'm going to show you, where can I show you? The prairie sunset has more of a purple stem. I'm going to put them next to each other so you can see the difference. I think here you can see really well. So you see how this is more of a green stem and this one's more of a reddish purpley stem? The reddish purple stem is the prairie sunset with the orange ring around the center. And the green stem is the oxeye sunflower that has the yellow flower here. And I'll put a picture of both of them in bloom. The false sunflower, it's hardy in zones 3 through 9. And it grows 3 to 6 feet tall. It grows tall. I'm going to say right now, this is the second season for mine. And I'm going to say they're about 4.5 feet tall at this point. And I'm going to show you some little sprouts. So right here, when this started growing, I did not weed it because I knew it was a sprout. And once you start letting the sprouts go and grow and you start seeing them, you're going to know what the sprouts look like. But this right here, this is a sprout. And if I look carefully at the stem, I see how the stem is all green. So I know that this is the oxeye sunflower sprout, not the prairie sunset. This is the oxeye sunflower. So there's a sprout there. I'll let that grow. I don't think I'm going to sell this. I've already sold pretty much all the sprouts I had for the season, and these were the ones that I kept to be able to put this plant. Either I'll let it grow here and I'll have another one, or I'm going to put it in another garden in a different spot. And then here is another sprout right here. And that also has a green stem, so I know this is oxeye sunflower. And so that's a sprout. And a lot of times, if you look right underneath the mother plant, you can probably see other sprouts growing. So let's see. I know I have weeds here, but let's just take a look. Oh, we do have a sprout. We do have a sprout. So right there, right here, this is a little, right here, this is a little sprout. So I can take that out and plant that somewhere else. Here, and I'm going to show you the difference with the little sprouts. This right here, this one's also a little sprout. I don't know if you can see, if it'll come up on camera, but can you see? I'm going to try to zoom in as much as possible. Where am I at here? Let's see. Where am I at? Okay. Can you see how the stem of this one is more of that purpley red color. So I know that this sprout is the prairie sunset. And last on the list, but not least, is the plant that I believe everybody should have in their garden, and that's milkweed. We're going to look at specifically swamp milkweed and how it's versatile. You can plant it in moist conditions, you can plant it in moist soil areas. So I have milkweed in the bioswale, but I also have it in my butterfly garden. And we're going to talk about the benefits of milkweed, how it's important to our wildlife, and what to look for. Okay, this last one that we're going to look at is swamp milkweed. And I have swamp milkweed growing all through the garden. I'm going to show you the mother plant first. All through the butterfly garden. So this is the mother plant. It has a pink flower. And see the little holes in the leaves? That's a sign of a monarch caterpillar eating the leaves. So milkweed, and we're going to talk about swamp milkweed because that's what I have here in this butterfly garden. Milkweed is the host plant for monarch butterflies. They lay their eggs on milkweed. But milkweed is also super important because it is the only plant, that the baby monarch caterpillars will eat. Without milkweed, we would have no monarch butterflies because the monarch caterpillars that turn into monarch butterflies would have no food. It is the only plant that they will eat. So this is a plant that I feel everyone should have at least one in their garden. A monarch butterfly can smell a milkweed plant up to 2 to 3 miles away, and it will find your milkweed plant. So this is the mother plant, and I'm going to show you the sprouts. So there's a milkweed sprout. Those two are milkweed sprouts, and some of these have grown pretty big. Look at this sprout, how big this sprout has grown. This was a sprout, and this was a sprout. This also was a sprout that has no leaves left because the monarch caterpillars have eaten all the leaves. Here's another sprout that has grown. Sprouts back there, sprouts there. These two sprouts here, you can see how they're being eaten. I'm going to show you some smaller ones. Here's a sprout, a milkweed sprout here that has grown. And here's some smaller ones I want to show you. So this is milkweed right here. And actually, this is good to show you this. This is milkweed, and right next to it, right here, tell me in the comments, do you know which plant this is? Do you recognize it from what we've already gone over? Milkweed here, and what's this? This is a blazing star sprout. Blazing star. And then right behind it, so you can see what they look like when they're smaller. Right behind it, that's a milkweed. This is a milkweed. This is what they look like when they're smaller. And then here's a sprout that grew, and it's already growing bigger. Now I let a lot of the milkweed sprouts grow here because the monarch caterpillars need them, and if I have a lot of caterpillars, they will go from milkweed to milkweed eating the leaves. And then here's another larger plant. This is also milkweed, this here, all of this here. This is a mature plant. So I have 2 mature plants and then a bunch of little sprouts. And I do also sell the sprouts, and then I do also take some of the sprouts and I plant them in my bioswale, where it's the soil is more, it has moist and wet soil there. And I plant this swamp milkweed there also because it will thrive in moist soil. And something else that I want to show you with the milkweed, you can see that this one, pretty much all of its blooms are spent. And what will happen is, when it's finished blooming, it will grow these seed pods. Look at these. It will grow these seed pods. See all these seed pods? It grows these seed pods, and then the seed pods will burst. Here's one that has burst, so you can see what it looks like. Here's one that has burst. See it there? And it has almost these hairy seeds in there. But what happens is all these seed pods will burst like that. And then that is food for the birds and other wildlife. And that's part of the reason why native plants are so important to have in your garden. They serve a much larger purpose than just looking pretty and growing well. Here's more of the seed pods. So I just wanted to show you that. I thought that was interesting. And so that is what the milkweed looks like. There's another small milkweed that I saw here that I just want to show you quickly, so you can see what it looks like when it's really tiny and it's growing. Here's a small little milkweed. Let me zoom out so you can see how small it is. We'll go in. That's a small little milkweed right there. And then you can see here, right there. And then here's another small sprout. And then right here is another small sprout. And so you can imagine, now for a lot of the plants, for a lot of the sprouts, I sell the sprouts. So I'm not letting them continue to grow here. I let them grow for a period of time and I sell them. And then some of the sprouts I will let grow, or I put them in other gardens to expand my other gardens. But you can only imagine, I had more sprouts here than this. Obviously I've sold a lot, so they're no longer here. But if I would let all those sprouts grow, I mean, this would be totally full. And as these plants grow and bloom, it does get pretty full. I'm going to put a picture in so you can see what this normally looks like in July. Again, like I had said, the rabbits are eating all the plants, so everything's really low. Instead of this coneflower being 3 feet tall, it's like a foot tall. These are some of my favorite self-seeding flowers. I have more. I don't want the video to be too long, so I just kept it at 6, especially since I was showing you the little sprouts and the little seedlings that come up. I just didn't want this video to be too long. If you're interested in another video with more flowers that self-seed and do really well, I will do another video. Just let me know in the comments. But so these are self-seeding perennials, very easy to take care of. And basically your garden is planting your garden for you for free. It's amazing. It's amazing. So you can let them grow and your garden will just expand on its own. You can take them and put them in other garden beds, and you can grow other garden beds for free from your original plant. Or you can let them grow a little bit, pot them up and sell them and make some money. and you can do all three. You will have so many sprouts coming up, so many little seedlings that you can do all three if you want. And then just imagine, so you start with the initial plant. As it has little seedlings start growing and you let those grow, those seedlings will grow into mature plants, and they will have little seedlings and sprouts. And then those will, and then those will. In addition to the first one, the mother plant, and the second plant and the third plant, and it will continue. So you can just imagine how quickly these self-seeding flowers multiply and really fill up a space. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you gained some knowledge from this. I am going to put at the end, I'm going to put the name of each plant. I'm going to put the zone that it grows in. I am also going to let you know what conditions it flourishes in. Does it grow best in full sun, part shade, moist soil, well-draining soil, etc. And I will also put how tall the plant gets, so you have an idea of how big the plant grows. I hope that that's helpful. This was a fun video to make, and I hope that you guys have a great day. I send you love and many blessings. Until the next video. Bye.